Hello, everyone. This is Laura K. Ellis here with another one. Today, I want to speak a little bit more. It's a subject I do speak about quite often, only because I see it so often. And it's all about people and their patterning, the things that they do, the habits of mind, the people that they attract into their lives, and so forth, are all based upon and derived from early childhood. In early childhood, from the third trimester in the womb up until 8 to 10 years of age, and I'm saying 8 to 10 because some other facilitators would say 8, but I just feel like it's 10 years of age when the aspect of your mind develops and you have the ability to say yes or no to information. Prior to that, all of us have been exposed to the environments and the people in it and the way we were treated or not treated in those first crucial years. Okay, so that being said, when we become adults, we pattern and we, not consciously, really, it's all unconscious. So we pattern these programs that are in our subconscious mind from early childhood. And that would explain, wouldn't it, that why Sue, for example, became an alcoholic and her father was an alcoholic. And maybe her father wasn't even around that much, but the unconscious mind is so powerful. It's like a magnet up until the age of 10, and it just picks up on things that you don't consciously remember or are aware of. So then Sue, of course, as the example, becomes the product of that. And that holds true in all situations, from being overweight. Now, let me just say this before I go any further. These programs, these habits of mind from childhood, can also go back 2 to 3 generations. Okay, so, it could be your great grandparents and your grandparents, or it could be all of them, which makes it even more challenging to overcome because you're breaking chains then, literally or spiritually speaking, from the past generations. Which is why past life therapy can be so helpful. Because oftentimes people in conventional therapies don't get the results that they need. And I know that because of the clientele I've had over the last 15 years. And so it's important to understand that we've all been programmed from the early years. And also, I want to say that it doesn't always reveal itself in the same ways. So let's go back to Sue again as the example. If Sue became an alcoholic in her adult life or early teens or however it was after the age of 10, hopefully not until she was an adult, but that doesn't always happen, does it? What happens then is the unconscious mind has pretty much cemented that program in. And I'm using that analogy because the more you play out the program, the more challenging it can become to unravel or to diffuse, really, and be set free. And to top that off, if there were 2 to 3 generations, which most likely were somewhere, because if Sue's father was an alcoholic or a raging alcoholic or a functioning alcoholic, as the example we're using here today, chances are great that either his parents, mother or father or both, or close family members, or even a friend, close family friend that he was exposed to, right, as a young boy, also makes it more difficult to overcome. And so if it goes back 2 to 3 generations, we can discover that with past life therapy. I don't take past life therapy lightly. individuals will say, well, I want to know who my soulmate is, or I want to know if the individual I'm currently involved with is my soulmate. I don't, it's not a joke, it's not a game, okay, not to me. And so past life therapy is just that, it's therapy. And so, as Dr. Brian Weiss had discovered, it's important work, okay? And that would be one surefire way to understand your current circumstances if it needs to go back a few generations. And I would know that personally, working with someone as I have, based on a consultation, an initial free consultation, of course, and perhaps, if not then, maybe 2 to 3 sessions in, it would reveal itself that this is what we need to do, right? Because we only get one shot here, everybody, and we want to do it in the best way possible. We want to be, hopefully you do, the very best versions of yourself. Now, I'd like to use another example for childhood and overcoming childhood aspects. And I say it because I've seen this quite often too. So individuals that enter into partnerships, into marriages, okay, as adults, and they find themselves people pleasing or wanting to be in relationships that are, well, either involved with a narcissist, again, that's past programming, and or some form of abuse or neglect, stonewalling, what have you, with your partner, and you stay, the individual stays, most often it's a woman, will stay in this partnership / relationship / marriage, whatever it is, because she's accustomed to being hurt. And if this individual, as we're talking about theoretically, is abusive in any way, then that triggers something in the subconscious mind, because she grew up, let's just say, in a family observing that, or it was done to her as a child. Okay? Could be from brothers, sisters, mother, father, aunt, uncle, foster parents, whatever it was. It's so important, I can't stress it enough, to understand all of this, because most people spend a lifetime, or maybe lifetimes, plural on that, if you believe that, trying to overcome the past conditioning that became a part of your personality by default. So breaking the chains, setting yourself free, it's possible. But it has to be done via the subconscious mind, because that's where all these programs, if you will, are stored. Okay? So with hypnotherapy / neuro-linguistic programming / cognitive behavioral coaching, there's a variety of techniques that I use, and that I know that are effective. They talk about, I want to just say this for a minute. I've had clients come to me with these, childhood issues. Most everybody's had some issues in childhood, some worse than others, right? So you want to become the best functioning adult possible. I would hope that you would. But what I want to say is, I've had clients come to me over the years speaking about this technique called EMDR. Well, I know what it is, and I personally don't find it to be sustainable. And the clients that I've had over the years that come to me after the fact, obviously they're coming to me because it didn't work for them, but it's not sustainable. And not only that, I am a collector of books. I love to read. Knowledge is power, right? If implemented, that is. And I collect vintage teachings as well, from Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn, and in this case, even Mr. Einstein, but in this case, it was a large package of cassettes that came as a set from a company called Cybervision, which was pretty advanced, I suppose, for the 70s and 80s. And these cassettes came in a 10, they were 10 per package, and they would move you, supposedly moving you through these different techniques to get you to your goal, whatever that was. Well, long story short, I found a one of these big cassette packs from that period of time that perfectly intact. I don't think they'd ever been listened to. And back in the day, these things were very expensive, maybe $1,000 for the 10 cassettes. And they did it with real estate. They did it with a lot of different things back in that time. But the one that I happened to come across, or it found me really, was all about I shift codes. And when I went through and I read the material and I listened to the one cassette, I realized, this is EMDR. And it's just been repackaged as EMDR because they certainly didn't refer to it as that. The Cybervision company who developed these techniques at that time. So I want to kind of put that out there, that just for all of you to be kind of forewarned of, these different modalities that promise you this and promise you that. And that doesn't exactly work that way. Yes, I understand that some things work for some people, some things work for others. But I personally have never had a client in my 15 years of practice that couldn't be placed under trance. Not one. They have come to me at times being a little skeptical, of course, and then being a little gun shy, if you will, from the ludicrous stage acts that some of these stage comedians call themselves hypnotists put on. And it's totally a misconception, because it is not hypnotherapy, okay? Hypnotherapy is analysis. What they're doing is more or less a snake charming act. Some people find it funny. I don't. I think it's an assault on a human being. But then again, these human beings want to participate, and that's why they act out the way they do on these entertainment stages with these snake charmers. Sorry, but to me that's what they are. So all that being said, it's extremely important to break the chains that you have acquired by default from childhood, that wove its way in through the energy mind to mind to mind, generation after generation, so that you're set free. And the only way to do that sustainably is to reach the unconscious mind. That is my personal and professional opinion, and I am a product of that, so I know that to be true. Okay? And be very mindful. I said this in my last audio. Be very mindful if you have children, especially under the age of 10, at home with you, that you're raising, because they are being programmed. If you're in a dysfunctional relationship, or on drugs, or alcoholism's involved, whatever it is that's not healthy, those children are going to grow up and pattern the same dysfunction that they've been exposed to or are being exposed to. That's why you see so many individuals, and when you ask them, if you ask or anyone asks, how was your childhood? How were your parents or your primary caretakers? What do you remember? And they're coming in for help. That's the reason why. Okay, and that applies to ADD, ADHD. It applies through being overweight. It applies to everything. And why is that? Well, because the unconscious mind co-created you in the womb. And from the third trimester forward, that subconscious mind within that forming child in the womb is picking up on everything like a sponge takes in water, and continues to do that until the critical factor of mind is developed, which is once again between the age of 10, where the mind has the ability to say, no, that's not right, or no, don't do that, or I can't do that, or I won't do that. Prior to that, you're just an innocent, open being who needs love. We all need love, and deserves to be loved. Okay, that's it for today. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. I wanted to say that I do offer a free phone consultation if that interests you, and we can do a discovery call at that time. Okay, and also please like, subscribe, and share as I continue to grow this channel. It is so greatly appreciated. So for now, everyone, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one.